Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits Special Edition video. Well, it took a little bit longer time period than expected, but as promised, here is the special edition video for my tour, my second tour that I did in Gonzales, Texas. This time visiting once again the prison slash museum that I visited in early January, but in this case it was a private tour and it was also only held open for us at night. So in other words, last time it was during the daytime during the public. This time it was a closed event just held for us, about 10 or 15 in our group, and then that way I was able to go on this private investigation, spend several hours there, and also have as a bonus a second stop at a place called the Pioneer Village, also located there in Gonzales, Texas. So I'm going to showcase all the pictures of the tour there and focus on some that include some very interesting paranormal activity. I've captured some stuff yet again on my camera, and I'm proud to be able to showcase here all this information for you. So let's go ahead and let's start. So the first stop was at the meeting point, which was the Gonzales, Texas prison slash museum. So we first started there. It was myself, another group, probably about maybe 10 or 15 at most, led by a very nice gentleman named Jerry from the group called Spectra. It was phenomenal. Like, it was, you can tell these people absolutely love their craft. They absolutely love doing these investigations. I love it when people have such passion when it comes to their hobby, or their not a hobby, in this case their particular career. And then so I was quite proud to be able to be with them for this go around. Afterward, right after that meeting point, we went here, which was the Pioneer Village. Now this is a place that's like a living history of some sorts. It's something where it's buildings from the 1800s that have stayed throughout the history of time, and they're there now as a living museum. You can go visit there in the public if you want. You'll have people there reenacting things. You'll be able to see the homes as they were from the 1800s, much like when I was at the location there in Fort Worth. I'm trying to remember the name associated with it, but when I was there, it was the very same concept. It was Log Cabin Village, that's what it was called. It was the same concept where you go in and it's quite fascinating. You're basically transported 200 years back so in time. We went there specifically, this was the bonus trip first, because this is a place that has strong reported haunted locations and apparitions within them. So I'll focus on them exclusively here. The first stop was the place you're looking at, which was the church. This church is a location that apparently still has sermons held to this very day. I'm trying to remember the exact specification, but I think it's at least once a week or once a month. This location has people meet, and then they're able to do some stuff there regarding their religion. But in this case, we went there and we were able to spend a good amount of time within that church. It was all dark. There's no lighting in there. Nothing turned on, in other words, at night, other than some exterior lighting. But it was quite interesting to be in there because the entity that haunts that location is known as Mr. Whistler. The reason for it is because, you guessed it, he whistles to make his presence known. He'll either whistle a song in particular, or he'll just whistle something to make his presence known to you. And there is a strong focus on the corner of the left-hand corner of the church where the piano is, because Mr. Whistler is also known to be able to play several keys from the piano also to make his presence known. So we were there, we took out the EVPs, we took out a device that would detect motion. It would light up lights, in other words, on the corner of the room whenever something passed it. Nobody from us, in other words, but something that would pass in front of it to make sure that its presence was known too. And I was able to capture some things, like look at this picture here. You can see that it seems to be an orb that's glided by my camera right at that point while I was pointing towards the piano, the same one again where Mr. Whistler is known to whistle and also play that very same piano. I showed this to Jerry and he was quite impressed with it. It was something that stood out. Another picture was this one here, which again showcases another orb, but this one a multicolored one as well. I don't know exactly what the different colors seem to mean, but it does showcase again an orb streaking by my camera. My apologies again for the resolution if it looks a little bit bad. My camera was again struggling to make sure that it could take a decent picture in all this darkness. Another picture that stood out was this one here. You'll notice that there's a gradual decline of, in this case, the opaqueness of it, and it has to do with the fact that I remember from the Good Springs tour that I took in Las Vegas. If you have something like this suddenly show up on your camera where it's not taking the picture right, it's very fuzzy, very very orangey, or some other different type of colors, because there's an orb literally right in front of the camera. Like, it does not like its picture being taken, and it will try to block your camera outright. So that's what I was experiencing right then and there too. The next place that we went to was one of the homes that happened to have another apparition within it. In this case, it's a little boy. This boy is known to roam the hallways, to roam the rooms, to be playful within the house. I believe it's called the Mensler house, if I'm not mistaken. And this one is another house, again built in the 1800s, and it's like, you're looking at the pictures now, it's beautiful. Like, you can see that it was definitely a home that was used, that was lived in. You can just picture the family there at that point living as they did so many decades so back. But yes, the hauntings with this, with the little boy, it seems to be that he's playful. Like, he especially loves playing with the women, because it seems like that reminds him of his mother. He'll pull at their skirts, he'll pull at their hair, not in any kind of hostile manner, not in anything in terms of let's say like an evil manner. No, it's just trying to get someone's attention, like any child would whenever they brush up against the leg of their parent and pull and tug at their clothes to try to catch their attention. That was what was occurring here. There's supposed to be another one, a little girl as well. I don't know much information on her. Either way, though, we didn't see anything, and my cameras didn't capture really much anything there. But it was still nice to try to take pictures of it. And then another place that we visited from the Pioneer Village was another home, much smaller, more like a log cabin home. This one also seems to have an apparition there that seems to make its presence known. I can't remember the much details on it, but I think it was someone that died within that home. My apologies, this is going back a couple of 2 months or so back, but I believe that's what had occurred, and so they never left that location. I stayed there for a good while, even after everyone left, to go visit the other places. It was what was nice about it is at some points it was free roam type of stuff. Like, I could walk around anywhere I wanted, and then stay in solitude in one place, and then stay in solitude in another one. So I stayed there for quite some time just to try to see if something could show up, but nothing did. The closest that I captured was this. It looks like something is streaking by, but the way it's long, like really, really long like that, I can't rule out that it was a fly, or I'm sorry, not a fly, some kind of insect. I'm not 100% sure. I wish I could say that it was more definitive, but no, I cannot with regards to that. But those were the main 3 places that we stayed at the Pioneer Village. Very great place to visit when it comes to that location. I'm sure it's even better during the daytime if there's not too many people around, but otherwise that was a blast, an absolute blast. It's a dream come true. If I could visit a place like that and have it be at night where more paranormal activity is, legally of course, in other words, it's open to us, not in other words that we're breaking in or anything like that, that is a dream come true. Then we went back to the prison museum, and we did a private tour there, and that one was a little bit longer. That's where we roamed several levels. First, the first entry level, then the second level for the prison, and then the third level involving the more confined, the more restricted cell levels there. That was again, I had visited in January. Still though, it was a blast to be able to go here because I was able to visit these locations in private, in some cases, some of these cells by myself. Last time it was a tour guide taking us place to place where we didn't really have much chance to stop within each cell exclusively, but in this case we could. So we did a bunch of EVPs there, tried to capture some stuff. Unfortunately, we lucked out on the EVP side throughout the entire tour. Nobody really communicated with us on anything. We didn't even pick up anything as far as voices, noises, nothing along those lines. I was hoping that Mr. Whistler would make his presence known, but he did not. And in this case, in the prison, which was reported to have had like knocks, moans, whispers, yells in some cases, I was hoping that we could hear something, especially at the nighttime there. But no, nothing along those lines. The closest that I came to was this. I did pick up several more orbs within several of the prison cells. You're looking at one, for example, here. These are distinct orbs. Whenever it's that wide mark, whenever it's not an insect, in other words, it definitely looks like something is shifting, moving, curving within the camera cell itself, then those are much more distinctive as being orbs. And so I captured those. I showed them to Jerry again, and he was quite happy. He was impressed with it, and I shared some of those pictures with him too. We went over to the third level, which again contained more of the solitary confinement type stuff. I was hoping to go because there's a particular cell there that housed someone that was a very famous inmate that has his presence known about of all the cells. And so I stayed there in complete darkness at one point by myself to try to see if something could show up, but no, nothing did. Maybe I just don't have it still. Like some people do, some people don't. But it wasn't in this case. Others, though, they were reported feeling things. Like there was someone in the group when we were in the Pioneer Village that stated that they felt a little heavy. Like, in other words, like something was putting pressure on their heart. Another person stated that they felt like they were riding on an airplane. Like whenever you're on an airplane and it suddenly dips, that's how they felt like within one of the homes. I was in the very same home at the very same room at the very same time, and I was feeling nothing. But it was interesting to hear others mention that on their end too. But yes, we stayed at several little cells, tried to see if something could happen. There was even a point where it was again free roaming type stuff, and I was able to move about, and we were able to go back to several of those floors, and I was able to check out those cells again, knocking on things, just trying to bring something out, just to say hello, or trying to bring something out that would make its presence known. But no, nothing along those lines. There was even at one point where I was just completely by myself on the entire level. Nothing, like nobody around me. So if something was heard, it would absolutely be them. But no, nothing along those lines, nothing that I could pinpoint showcasing that there was proof there for it. Others, though, I don't know if anyone else had more luck on their end, but for myself, no. But that was it. That was the tour, the duo combo that we did there in Gonzales, Texas. You've seen all the pictures. Now I'm going to upload these two within my Facebook page, all of them. So that way you'll have high definition detail of these pictures, so be on the lookout for that too. In fact, as soon as I have it, I'll include the link for it below, so that way you'll have it for your records too. So, but what do you guys think? Anybody else going to go to that tour anytime soon? I understand that they do these consistently. I think probably around, maybe like 3 times a year, maybe 4 at most, and that's pushing it, but I believe that that's where they do it on there. And so if anyone is interested in the future, just type away somewhere Gonzales, Texas prison ghost hunt, something along those lines, and you're bound to find more information about that. So that would be really, really good for you to visit. I highly recommend it. So alright everybody, thanks again as always, take care.